Sashi, Toki Joshi Mento Tron, Rera Lichini Tegen Padi, Sake Shinto Mite Ubagi, Rogunanda, Shimla Chapa Sho, Nidam Guru Ratna Mandala, Kamira Karayam.
nam yamara de chardin shubanashi adi baralaya parsinte shabayma sonda ayan chato yakulung chisunashi takandare yen ai simjetamje tomiseta tewa tobiya shitu chato ni tabe chuya kuji nyeni anyambatian chalena kigini sondean ana kombatin ji shironas.
So we are in the course of sessions within the one day, and in the middle, before just now, we take a break. So now we come back to the session again. As for beginning the session, it's very important to maintain the initial motivation. So right now we are to regenerate the motivation again. In short, for the sake of all sentient beings who are limitless in number, in order to overcome their suffering completely and to present them with the ultimate happiness, we are to achieve Buddhahood. And in order to achieve Buddhahood, we are here to listen to the Dharma as well as we could. And by listening, we try to practice as well as we could. Please generate the proper motivation as of now.
Tatagi shubanashi anetanda jizu drama de kandis conference, komna de kandu conference yatida ma deshipuis.
As we have mentioned just before we took a break, is how to precisely meditate on the Tara herself. So now we will see how to do so.
Adi kandis conference disamata chitanam yungaranzu Soshin Mangchore, Tagarahiro, Chiparichere, Takandari Dundagayata, Ane Meto Pema Chiche, Ane Diganaya Nimi, Din, Diganaya Dawe Din, Oda, or Diganaya Ane, Mohadi Davitin, Susu, Savi Lama Imbala, Lamba di Chitu Drama, Ane Drama Drenjangita, and Katupapa data Drama Drenjangiro.
So in order to practice meditation, we need what is called a merit field. And merit field in this context, we generate or we meditate the merit field in front of us. So in front of us, there is a lotus, and then on top of the lotus is the sun disk. And on top of the sun disk is a moon disk. And on top of the moon disk is the nature is our main spiritual master. The root spiritual master is being the nature, but the appearance taking the form of Tara.
Adinde, ane tambo medo pema chiche, digana nimache, digana dawache yoro. Adi medo pema digi nginjun chungu yore se, chungu yoro.
Yes.
Ane nima digi, nime teni digi, tongi toge sherab chungu yore se.
Yes.
Dawe teni digi janju ki sem chungu yore se.
Yes.
Sesa desum ki ane pe nginjun chansem yanda pe tawasum chungu yore se.
Yes. So when we visualize the lotus, this actually is the symbolism for renunciation, the quality of renunciation. And on top of the lotus, we visualize sun disk. Sun disk is the symbolism for the wisdom realizing emptiness. And on top of it is moon disk. And the moon disk symbolizes the spirit of enlightenment. So from this visualization itself, it represents the qualities which is renunciation, the spirit of enlightenment, and the excellent view.
Sesa detabe nginjun chansem yanda pe tawasum chungu yore se shubruwa. Desumbu di sui gyule yore se na, da de gana shugingi da jizu dhima jik yorwa. Di gyula nginjun chansem yanda pe tawasumba yuwa jik da chungu.
Yes. So when we visualize the tree being the symbolism of renunciation, the spirit of enlightenment, and the excellent view, then to whom these great qualities belong? to the figure who sit on top of it. So on top of the tree symbolism, we visualize Tara. So it says Tara with the renunciation, the spirit of enlightenment, and the excellent view.
Tata ne kapti ane Jesu Dhamma dita Dhamma Drenjang da di Gomrwa. Ta Drenjang di Gomi di Dhamma Drenjang di Jida Kato Janguyin ya di Kari Siddhi Samba. Ane Koran ya Mudub Shubi yana tembo yoba. Di Siddhipa sejiro. Siddhipa rebe.
CD.
Tembo yobe tenare, tembo.
Tembo.
Stabil.
Stabil.
Stabil. Ta Koran ngaranza Jidanda Sanje Samalade Mazure Wachana Date Zumudu She Yamara. Tembo Meba Yamada Yinaya Koran Sundere the Nixie. Carson and Jangu de la Tsu Damada Jabiana Lela Yamare. Lamsa Jutukumare.
Allen.
The Jangudi. Then I'm the Kato Carboyana. The color Carson in Yoro. The Lamsan of the Jangudi Jida de Test Tembo Yibit and that.
Yes. So the figure, the deity that we imagine is the main deity, which is Tara, which is specifically to be a green Tara. So green Tara is why green Tara and why the color green. The figure green Tara and the color green is specifically is the one who symbolizes the qualities of a stable achievement. So in general, of course, we know that all the Buddhas are stable in their achievement. We are not saying that the Buddhas is not stable, but in this context, for the figure of the deity, which is Tara, which is green in color, it symbolizes a stable achievement. As for the color itself, the color green is explained to be a color that has the qualities to be stable and unchanging. So for example, compare to the green color, say like white color, the color white, it's easily when you put something on top of the white color, it changes, it becomes different color. But as for green color, it's not so easily changed, so it's stable. So it represents a stable achievement.
Jesu Dhamma Dhamma nya jibe kundo kaabri nya dele ana marajo soata bina juwa tangri besini ende maris kora chönden samri
Chönden sam.
kora di chombaris chönden seji kora koyare di diri
Yes.
satena Dhamma di chashabina kundo kaabri nya de karsana kora kyöne neba di chombari.
Yes. So now that we have the main figure being the Tara, which is green Tara, but then perhaps people will say, oh, then we have also the white Tara. So between the green Tara and white Tara, there is no much so difference. Apart that we are differentiating them, they are the same. There's only the aspect that's different. As if we want to compare furthermore, for example, the white Tara, why it is white? White is to symbolize free from impure, is free from faults. The whiteness in white Tara to symbolize free from faults.
Dijidu samba tatande tajidu dramaji komyoro tawadi ngode da susu lama ran tawe lama de tagra yibache namba de jidu me namba tero dijebe na kariyorsin jinlab chewayo resu barta ngode lama yibache namba de yidamji namba tebayena jinlab de chewayo resu jinlab chebo.
So the way we meditate or to visualize the merit field, so the nature, as we mentioned, the nature is none other than the root master, the root spiritual master, but the appearance, taking the appearance or the form as Tara. So in this way, we meditate the nature to be spiritual master, but the appearance is the form of the Yidam, the Tara. And this way, this method of meditation too is explained to have a larger blessing, a bigger blessing.
Samsam da ngodi jijudu ma imbache ya. Yitamdi imbache. aspect dia susi lama yi sam diji dia jin la nyuro yo res.
Yes. So, in the same way that this way of visualizing could be reversed in the sense that the nature is the yidam, so the nature is tara, but the manifestation or the appearance is the spiritual master. And in this way, the method is said to carry blessing is quicker, swifter.
제가 말아서 진라고 교고에 고거래라 뉴고 고거래래 최고의 고거래 제가 가브레 라메 모를 따야 가브레야지 이담 지지 조명 모를 따야 어도제 삼삼도 지고
Yes. So, what kind of blessings do we need? We need blessings, we say quick, we need this to be quick, swift, and also we need a blessing which is large or huge in amount. We need big blessing, so both. So in terms of this, therefore, the nature of the meditation field, the merit field, the nature could be the yidam, which is quicker, or the nature could be the spiritual master itself, the nature, so to have a bigger blessing. So because of this aspect that we can interchange between how we meditate the field.
그래서 단데 말아서 고미야데 지수 도마데 전장들어
Mm.
그 전장 거람게 두개 부가라 이게 땅시에 지어요 이게 땀이디야 장고리 가르서나 땀이디 거라 투비 사변으로 지수 좀 거람게 군도 가려비나 디투가기 땀데 안에 갈라다 그런
Yes, yes. So now here, the one that we meditate is the taking the appearance of the Tara herself. So the appearance of the Yidam herself in the form of Tara. So the Tara is a green Tara, and inside, in the middle of her heart, there is a seed syllable, which is Tam. And the Tam color is also green. So seed syllable usually correspond to the color of the deity. And here is the green Tara. So the seed syllable Tam also green in color.
다 이게 땀디다 투가를 열어와 다 말아서 빼라는 뒤로와 안에 하다 하면 주변에 샵제 빼만라도 공부군라 되잖아 조마용라 차체로 어스저와 안에 um다리 두다리 둘이서 um다리 두다리 둘이서 하세 다 도저 탱고르지 로로와 디 차산지 로로와 디 차산지 로잖아 디 차산 로디 좀 빼나 타마 딜리디 um다리 두다리 둘이서 하 스디 좀 안에 딘지 지지 좀 투가려야 땀 장고지도 땀 장고지다 안에 지지 좀 장고되기도 하네 지지 좀 충분은 전장 좀 장고 충분하고 먼저 셀주나시 마 밥제 하는 알아지 기주도 뭐 도래 수발라 참말마 팀제 하는 알아지 누마이 숨지 뒷바탕제 밥 내가 차송 삼되고 뭐
So the way that we do the meditation is that we visualize the Tara in front of ourselves. Inside the Tara, there is a seed syllable Tam. So now imagine we are about to start the recitation. So we recite first the first verse of homage in the one in page 165. Ladang lamin chulinji, samne pemola tune, pomagone drozema, drama yumla chachela, along with the meaning, we reflect. And then after that, we recite the Tara, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha, using the help of a rosary. So rosary, so at the very least, we can sit down and recite the rosary for one round of rosary. And one round, and we try to recite, and during the last beat of the rosary, then the last beat is we recite the last one. Let's say we slow it down. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha. By the last beat, then we imagine the Tara in front of us, in the middle of her heart, which is Tam, seed syllable Tam, green color, comes many small Taras, which is also green in color. Comes like a rain falling down upon us, coming us through the top of our head and enter into our bodies. And by this, we imagine all the faults and the difficulties of the body, speech, and mind being purified.
那今年嘛，他听明的了，嘛都听明的咱把他干的上当过的事的咱们，马上就都老准备呢，打击的话，知道吧？我的今年嘛出去呢，干的这个的话，变那看过的准备呢，干的我的那些别都嘛多呢，马上就吕布的仓嘛，西国那些嘎扎那些都得超上的。
Yes. So how do we really visualize when we are cleansing or purifying, when the small taras coming toward us like a falling rain, and the small tara enter our bodies through the top of our head into our body? We should imagine, for example, when we try to cleanse or to clean, to wash a cloth. So when we're washing a cloth, we do imagine that the stain are falling apart, the stain of the cloth. Or imagine that we are cleaning a house. When you wash a house completely, you wash it down, and everything that is staying there inside the house being washed completely. So we imagine that the small taras comes toward us like a rain falling or pouring down to us, cleansing all the stain of the body, speech, and mind. And when it's completed, we imagine that we are transparent. Our body is like a glass. It's transparent, translucent like a glass.
안랑 유행하라서 다시 대자 공부 맞게 되나 맞게 차버려 야나 삼삼 공도 차버려 여비나 수수 되지 여비나 다시 공도 충도 따야다 맞게 충도 따야다 되려되버여나 야단데 지주 드마데 지주 드마 까볼라 삼다라 다 지주 드마 까볼라 삼다네 다 um다리 두다리 둘이서 um다리 두다리 둘이서 어디 이 참마지다 아니야 다기나 시다 드마 까보만 보지 이니마 요네 아는 알아서 수월라마 팀네 다단다 대샤 공도 나젤라 소가 상 밤에 차승 삼도 삼단들이
So what is it precisely that we need to cleanse ourselves from? What we need to clean ourselves or to purify from? For example, there are a lot of kleshas such as attachment, and then anger, and also pride. So there are many people with a great pride, a strong pride, or perhaps people with a strong anger. So if you wish, anyone who wish to purify this attachment, anger, and pride, and to lessen. So for the one who is great pride, the person needs to lessen down the pride. For the ones with a great anger, he needs to lessen the intensity of the anger. Then we can do this by relying upon the tara. And for this, we can take the tara in the form of white tara. So it's the same in front, in the figure becomes a white tara. And we imagine the thumb inside is a white in color. And when we recite, after imagining, we recite the Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. The mantra is the same for at least one round of rosary. At the end of the last bit, we recite Om Tare Tutare Ture Soha. When the last bit completed, we imagine from the center of the middle of the thumb comes many small white tara and comes toward us, falling down to us through the top of our head. And cleansing ourselves, we imagine all the attachment, the anger, and the pride being purified, being cleansed. And by this, we rely to the tara.
다야 수수 즉 세림부윤야 세림부윤야다 수남야 폐야다 안에 벤조르 룽조야 폐야 되르기 되버지 여기나 야 등기 지들 드마 세부 공내라 그거 세부 공내냐 나다가라로 엄다리 두다리 해야 되냐 차상지사 야 되네다기 난다리 뒤지마 바빙데 잠바 드마 세부만 보지 반 누가 예선지 뒤도 탐제 바 맵산에 세리와 수남 폐와 안에 노룽지 계속 삼도 삼단유리.
So regarding the blessing that we would like to receive, so for those, for example, there are people who need to have a long life and then to increase the merit and then to increase the material wealth. So for this is the same procedure. This time we take the tara in the form of yellow tara. So in front of us is yellow tara with the thumb also yellow in color, the sixth syllable. And then after imagining the yellow Tara, then we recite the mantra. The mantra is the same, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soa, for one round of the rosary. At the end of the last bit, when we say Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soa, then we imagine from the yellow thumb, from the yellow Tara in front of ourselves, come many small yellow Tara comes toward us and pour down to us from the top of our head and enter into our body. And by this, we imagine is cleansing or purifying all the obstacles from ourselves, in the obstacle in order to receive a long life, to merit and material possessions. We imagine being pure, being cleansed away, all the obstacles to receive that.
나다가나 신수수 안에 왕이 레드를 두려 되고요나 계고하단 들여 이고고요나 나 드마마르고 삼노탄 줄에 나 삼노탄에다 비두지 비상지단데 다가라 제네 안에 왕이 레디 두수 삼다 두삼다야데.
And the same ones, perhaps a practitioner will need the qualities which is called power. So for power, we could rely on the red Tara, which is what is called Purikuri, red Tara. And inside the sixth cerebral thumb is also red in color. So the way to do the purification is the same, the one that being described just before. And after that, we imagine we receive all the blessing in order to have a power.
나다가나 시트라벨레 두야이네 나야 지주드마 무나로 문부터 나고제는 무나시 그래. 다가다 어디 리지 다가랑 이거 삼다 안에 디마데사 안에 디제레야 나야 지주드마 어디 무나되는 망고지마 팀발라 때네 안에 리지 내된 탐제 파 장시 다네 자벨레 이 안에 두숨 삼다 두삼당들이.
Yes. And furthermore, there is practitioners who need to receive a blessing in the form of redful activities. So for redful activities, we could rely upon Tara as well. And in this time, the Tara that we imagine, the Tara color is dark blue. So for the Tara, dark blue Tara, the thumb also dark blue. Then we imagine all the purification, the many small Taras comes into us, purify us, and then give the blessing in the form of redful activities.
Activitas urase dirido da jabuchilesi. Awadi dude ta kandar chijudu mala tene leshi kupsiya de kendu go.
So in short, what we have just seen is relying upon the Tara for the 4 types of activities.
chijudu ma de da ngaranzu ane yidam shenle habu chejusiya de da Ravi Shu Sabdire, Anna Kora Norgilha, Anne Shera Gilha, Chele Gilha, Seha, Yidam Shendala Dinang Shingi Kejudi Yungoyong.
Yes. So the quality, the special quality within Tara as a Yidam, which is special compared to other types of deity, this already been mentioned because we have seen how Tara is the goddess of wealth. How Tara is the goddess of wisdom, how Tara is the goddess of activity, and how Tara is the goddess of long life. And the special traits that is within contained by the Tara, the goddess Tara here as the Yidam, is not contained by other types of deity.
Lende yuwe yidam jik tempo yina da yidam shenle nebe jilam yuro yor. Naranzo ledan rewa yuwe yina yidam di. Pena lama da loma di kewa ngame ledan lende ki rewa yuwe to sa lama di tempo yina lama shen tempo le hawe ane suju kyu la papa keya la ane kebar chimbo yoris. Pere chashana chizu mele reba di lama marbe ngwe la lama mambo tem sari. Ninaya di lende yuwa di lama marborama. Sesan lama marbate bala tene kewa ngame ledan rebi kasa lende di yuwa ane di wongwe ane seji yuichi le sangye bati lu chungro. Nina shin ngarazu ranshubi shiba na shin ngarazu sangye arsawara pawa chere sigi dushin toso 주주들마다 믹스기 좋아요. 그래서 근데 제가 어디 이 당시에는 하고 칠레 유부 연구요. 그래서
So what do we have just seen in this morning session when we say that this particular Yidam or this particular deity has specific traits to be quick, to be swift in granting the blessing. So this is very important because at the end it depends on the karmic connection. So for example, between a master and a disciple, a certain master with a certain disciple must have a strong karmic connection in order for the both sides to have a strong realization and quick realization. So for this, the example is none other than Jeju Milarepa by relying upon the master, which is Marpa. So Jeju Milarepa himself, before he met the Marpa Lotsawa, Jeju Milarepa already have many other masters, but not until the point that he met Marpa Lotsawa that he gained such a quick and big blessing realization that Jesu Milarepa is the great practitioner who can achieve Buddhahood in one body, one lifetime. So in the same that we mentioned this morning, for those who have a strong connection with the Avalokiteshvara, and this strong connection by Avalokiteshvara take the manifestation in the form of Tara. And the Tara as the Yidam is for those who have strong connection with this Yidam, the Tara, and in turn with the Avalokiteshvara.
내인바 손자다 달에 두 달에 둘이 소화해야지도 내가 막대단 이대시 니거리 막대세는 나는 달에 두 달에 둘이 달에 두 달에 둘이 소화해야지도 어디 민라야 막대세 나는라고 해요 이대시야 돼 칸이라고 해요 말이 선딩라 디전 막대다 이대 제비는 이대디 누가 채워요 이대들 선이행위는 이대 용어요 말이 칸이라고 요대 칸이라고 하려고 했으면 이행도 그러 그래서 이대디 되지 누구 채워요 그래서.
Yes. So for the mantra itself, the Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, the 10-syllable mantra, for the recitation of this mantra can be in turn divided into two types. The recitation by oral recitation, by using a mouth, oral recitation, and the mental recitation. So for the oral recitation is the one that we practice when we recite it with our mouth with the sound Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. And the mental recitation is without sound. We are using mental to recite the Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. And between oral and mental recitation, it is mental recitation which is stronger. Because when using mental recitation, the mind will not be distracted. When you are using oral recitation, even though our mouth can be reciting, but the mind can be distracted. The mouth is reciting, but the mind going elsewhere. On the other hand, mental recitation, the mind stable, reciting the mantra. So in between the two, mental recitation is, the power is stronger.
제가 말아서 뒤지 여기에나 그 레메자기 저기지 삼삼막대디지 삼삼이대디지 남투이나 예지하고 있는.
So in terms of how to apply this into the practice, so for those who can allocate the time, by allocating the time for this practice of recitation, there is a certain allocation of time. We start with oral recitation. After that, we switch into mental recitation. And then after that, we interchange again, switch back to the oral recitation. By doing this, it could have a good effect, and a practitioner can interchange between the two.
아마 뒤지 뵙자지야 되디 테마레레야 다마 지 뒤지 뵙자지야지도 인지민지 테마 찍찍 맞으냐 되리 수수되거래 이 테마 찍라 자루거로 하시다 이게 제일 전에 되그래 숨지 제일 전에 되그래 십지 제일 전에 되그래 이요 말이 내가요 말이.
So when we are using we are trying to apply the visualization of purification and the blessing by utilizing the rosary. When we give the example, the rosary counting is one round. One round equals around 100 beats, more or less 100 beats. So after one round, then we try to visualize the purification and the blessing. This not necessarily one round. we can use it, for example, another 200 or 300 or 400, up to 400, etc. After that, then we do the visualization. So before we use the example for one round, but this is not necessarily so. We can be 2, 3, 4 rounds, etc. And then we do the visualization.
다음달에 두 달에 둘이 소하서다 뒤지 저러. 디지데 명마 자주기 왕 배나 제레스기 왕라서가 되는 톱 유아다. 야나지 상대 직승라서가 상황규번 직지 대저 가rum이 왕 톱교된데 이미나 나단데 지주 드마데 마 외도 쉬니래. 외다 자하야 되는 쉬니 수수마 팀발라되는 누마이 승지 디립탄제 파 장시 다네 수수야다 지주 드명 머리 깨송 삼지 그래. 지주 드명 머리 깨버리다.
So when however much round of rosary that we decided, so 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And by the last bit that we decide, oh, this is the last one, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Re Soha, the last bit, the last recitation, then we are to imagine the visualization. After we imagine the visualization, there is one phase that we can do is for those of you who have received the great initiation, either the great initiation related to Avalokiteshvara or the great initiation related to Guhya Samaja or the great initiation related to Yamantaka. For the one who have already received great initiation, by the end of the visualization, after cleansing and blessing, the very end, there is one point that you can imagine or generate yourself, you being the Tara herself. You lock into the samadhi by your visualization, you become the Tara herself.
디 삼당이 뒤자마 다당 아주 류들이지 말한데 지주저만이 삼지 삼당이요 말이지 노래서. 다 간데 삼당으로 해서는 말아도 개왕아만의 내용으로 개왕아만의 시디로 시디니 개와치마 녹인 나지 여러 내내 나디 가와도가 세비나 켜는 예야면데 디 민두 sabbe 삼루지도와 어디 다가나 지주저만이 삼공거리.
Yes. So how do we do the meditation or the visualization when we think ourselves as Tara herself? So the way to do it is not just ordinary way, meaning that, oh, I am the Tara now, then we kind of acting, oh, I am the Tara, I resemble the Tara with the traits and qualities, etc. It's not like this. The way to do it is like this. We have to recollect that now, us here, we imagine ourselves with this body, we come to this life with this body. But this life and this body comes from previous life. So it goes back to previous life and goes back to previous lives. Then there's one point we come to this life, but then this life, then we'll continue again to next life. Our body and our mind right now will continue, the mind will continue to the next life and after that to the next life. And for those series of life from the previous one, the present one, and the next one, when we try to seek for the I, and then we come to the conclusion there is no I. And by this kind of understanding, then we imagine we are the Tara. This is the correct way of imagining ourselves as the Tara.
와다야 답이 쉬거나시 겨왕아만은 드리면 되네 겨와치만 로긴게 나세야데 세벤이나 민두 삼지야게 다디 지주들마고 다 수수데스 수수요 말다 다디 디요 말다 지주들마라 이거 삼다 다디디 수수 두가 될라 가르어서는 인가 될라다 수수 지주들마인다 차바이바 손자 열레 이기 땀지겨리라 이기 땀지겨리지 와도지 나수지 디지디 잠바다 데네 땀딜레 외세튼 초주를 잡아 심지 탐제라 포 심지 탐제기 내대 딕틱 탐제 파 장시 다수 삼르지로 아니 양자르냐 외세디 수꿈 수고로냐 꾸제냐 다가랑 땀들라 수팀을.
So when we realize, we understand that the beings that from the many previous life, and then the being that is now sitting here, and the beings that about to be reborn again into the next life and the next one after that, this person doesn't have an I, and self-existing I, and with this understanding, then we imagine ourselves as Tara. And this Tara, of course, we imagine ourselves like the Tara. We try to emulate the Tara herself. We really, really feel and imagine we have become the Tara herself. And being the Tara, the appearance is just like Tara, the deity. And then inside our heart, because we are Tara, we are green in color. So there is a Tam inside our heart. The Tam is green in color, being the sixth syllable. And this Tam, we have to imagine it to emit light into the 10 direction, covering all sentient beings. And we imagine we bring them all the happiness that they want, the blessing that they want, from the central heart, the Tam emitting light, limitless lights to bring blessing to the all sentient beings. Then after that, we imagine that those light, this light that being emitted can be retract again. So we retract again back to the Tam sixth syllable. So in this way, we can emit, we can retract.
디젤라 사무가라 땅고를 수디자마 다 수수 인가라 땀지 유디자마 다 수수 땀라 바팀이다. 땀라 바팀데다 수수 영마르다 단데 영마르다 이게 땀지마도 영마르다.
So when we imagine ourselves as the Tara, we really became the Tara. So the one that before that, the one that we imagine to be ourselves, this is gone. It changed into Tara, transformed into Tara, and the Tara with the Tam syllable in the middle of her heart. So by the end of the day, when we imagine even this appearance of the deity Tara, the lady Tara, in the end, it will be dissolved into the Tam sixth syllable. The Tara deity itself is gone, then the dissolve into the Tam.
땀지 고라 팀으로. 이게 땀 두수여라. 이거는 고지여라. 이게 고래야 팀으로 땀지.
Tam igodi soptal kare.
그래서 더 간절하라 그래. 이게 땀지야 저라.
Yes, 이게 땀치기요레스.
이게 땀지야 돼. 이게 땀은 고여라. 고더라.
Yes.
아주 우진이라고도 우진 써야 되는 고진이라고 하거든. 고대 슈고대야 돼 팀이다.
Yes. So in the end, when the lady Tara in the form of the deity then dissolve into the Tam, the sixth syllable Tam. So the Tam itself is using the sixth syllable. The Tam itself consists of the syllable Tam with a head. With a head, then this Tam sixth syllable in the end dissolve into the head of the character.
땀디 안에 고라 팀송 땀이 고디 다실라 팀이 다세스에 다완다 버지여리 불안 지여라 대간로 불안 지여라 와델 팀이.
Yes. So after the Tam dissolve into the head of the characters, so when we draw the Tam, so on the very top is the head. So the remaining down syllable dissolve into the top of the head of the syllable, and then the head of the syllable in turn dissolve into the moon, because on top of it there is a moon, then dissolve into the moon.
땀디 고라데 고 다실라 팀스 다세디 틸리 고고지여리
Yes.
고골데 팀이.
Yes. So after dissolving into the moon, then in the end, the next dissolving is dissolving into the bindu, dissolving into the drop. What is called a drop? A drop is a circle, small circle. Then the moon dissolve into the drop.
틸리디 나달라 팀이. 나다세 디가는 든지여리.
Yes.
예 리버럽디 숨이여리. 디네데 세세디 다 단잠으로 돼.
Yes. So after that, the drop will in the end eventually dissolve into the nada. Nada is something on top of the drop, which is the shape is consists of three parts. The last part being pointed. So the drop dissolve into the nada.
도저히 야르데 그 차로 터르지. 하나 간장 거니야면 동거 소리 차로다. 괜히 야면 삼제도 어디다? Susu Tongi la, Anebeji, Koa Kande Yubiana. Tongi la, Nyamleri Kaze Yubiana, Wadikatu de Samdamo.
Yes. So after dissolving into the nada, so the nada, what is initially a coarse one, then slowly dissolve into subtle nada. When dissolve into subtle nada, slowly this subtle nada dissolve itself and becomes empty. And when it becomes empty, this is the part when the practitioners is practicing whatever level of emptiness that he has. At that time, he is meditating on emptiness. So emptiness, in a sense, when we try to meditate it, it's like a sense of hollowness, emptiness, and emptiness. But of course, the practitioners has the understanding of the emptiness that he applied it at this moment.
Adi Sabi Jela, Tagoton, there's a Samdam de Saro. That is Harry and Dizambada, Suzu Moaja delivery. Suzu Anekio Sabatiki, Dachi, Tempajavata, Doa Devata, Delongo, Anatamadelea, Anekioati, new to the Chizu to Matukin, Doa Chica Maliva, Ye Sala Gova, that's how.
Yes. So when everything has dissolved up to the nada and the nada itself dissolved, then the practitioner allocate the time to meditate on emptiness. So whatever much time that he allocated for emptiness meditation, and then at one point he must complete it. So after he meditated on emptiness, he completed. So it's completed. This one session of practice being completed, then he will need to do dedication. So the dedication is whatever the merit accumulation gain from the practice of the Tara is to be dedicated for the preservation of the Buddha Dharma and for the happiness of all sentient beings. After he thinks like this, which is a dedication, then he recite the concluding verse, the concluding dedication verse. By this virtue, may I quickly attain Tara, my Master Buddha, the Tara, and then place in that state all beings without exception. Dewadini Nyurtoda, the verse on page 53.
Agi Singama, that's a Juji Wong, and a Cheresi Wong La Soba, that's a Juji Wong the data. Ya Lameji Wong, Jiji Wong, da Sama Duba, Tesola Soba. Na Dema Yimba, that Duguriki Wong, Duguriro, Duguri Wong, the Wong Kaya, Matobaji Yimina, that Jizu Mate Susulama Timne, Ma Timne, and the Susu. Luigi Nede Tamjeda, the Pictaja Pachanchi, Tasun, Samjia Mando, Machi Jumaki Suji, the Kumchomar.
Yes. So the one that we have just seen of the concluding phase, when everything is being imagined as being the Tara himself, this is for those who have received the great initiation. But then what about those who haven't received any great initiation? Be it the great initiation of the Kriya, which is Alvakiteswara, or the other great initiation related to Yamantaka or Guya Samaja or Heruka. If anyone, or perhaps another one is Kala Chakra, if anyone who has not yet to receive any of these just mentioned initiation, then he can do all, imagining the deity in front, doing the mantra recitation, and doing the visualization of purification and blessing, but he is not to imagine himself as the Tara. And only this part he cannot do because he's not yet to receive the initiation to be able to do that.
That the name was Munada, Sani Jena, the Jena, Tobayinaya, Tagara, Susu Dimalaya, Wong the Kaimo, Tobina, Tabishugana, the Tomio Mavina. Tagara Susu Chituma in some Giadi Yamari. That's under ye dinner come Najulas and water just how much is over it. That is now the Togori, the Sani is it one human you did in United.
Yes. So for this, there is an upcoming agenda which is called Jenang or the permission. So for the Jenang, everything was just being described now when we imagine the deity. And then we do the recitation and then the purification, the Tara. Everything can be done, or the same apply for those who have received a great initiation. then the person, the practitioner can imagine himself as the Tara. For those who haven't received great initiation of any kind, then this person cannot imagine himself being the Tara. But apart from that, the one that we saw just now, everything can be done. You can imagine the Tara in front, we can recite the mantra, we can do the purification and blessing visualization. Only the part that to imagine oneself as the deity, this is not be able to be done by those who have not received any kind of great initiation.
제나디 라비에네 원 라비 고쳐고 말이.
Yes.
제나디게 원그 고 맞추어 송리.
Yes. So someone who received a janang or permission doesn't mean necessarily that the person received a great initiation. So in order to receive the janang, then actually the beginning, the initial step is to receive the great initiation or wang.
제가 오늘 제베에나 제나디 왕외란 거네 안에 제나 제야디 제일 용거야지 인사를 명마들 들으신도가
Yes.
아무도 뭐 이나야 취소다 때나 말아주디 산지기 때문에 남배 때문에 야간에 다바이면 존재 야간에 봐 별로 다 뒤sam바 제나들 때 망보다 제베 오늘 린중이 자살했는데 파리 자살했는데 자살은 뭐여요 제나 자살 이게도 되는 뭐여요 얘네 왕도 지켜는 시라 말하지 이래 맞도지 아니 제나 와도 전에 아니 제나 빙산 제나디 왕마라 만도비네 제나 토고리 순거다
Yes. Yes. So regarding the way to do this kind of ritual or blessing or initiation, of course, from the strictly speaking, we can understand that the one that is supposed to be done first is the great initiation, which is called Wang. After receiving the Wang, then we receive the consecutive initiation or the permission, which is Jenang. And by this strictly speaking term, then we understand is to receive Wang first, after that the Jenang. But however, in the course of time, for example, if we are referring to the Buddha himself, so the Buddha himself originated in India, and from India, after the spread of the teachings and the Dharma, including the tantric teachings and rituals, from there it comes to the Tibet. So in Tibet, there are many the practice of the ritual conferring the Jenang. So such example, for example, the Rinjung Gyatsa. This is a Jenang comprised of around 100 Jenang, 100 deity, or Bari Gyatsa, around 100 up to 200 Jenang, 200 deities. So this Rinjung Gyatsa, Bari Gyatsa, this is all are Jenang. And these types of ritual conferring the Jenangs is quite common. It's quite common. And nowadays, based on the practice that is commonly widespread and frequently practiced, it is possible to receive a Jenang without the prior great initiation.
제나기 거르데다 산이 슈빈도 고라카스 바바인바 손다 네 산이 슈빈 미나야 단다디 제나데다 트라제간라 안에베 제나 슈빈에다 토브를 숨어라다 제다 수수 이제다 대바디 유비나디 토브를 숨어라 미나야 다 지금 수수 제나낭시 될라 용투바다 뒤주 여바다 고갑이 연에 만용제 안에 트라제간의 슈빈이나 대서 카보레스 이를 숨어라다 이 많이 봐지 수수 용도 여비에네 유주 마라바레베 겐신다 태버레베 윤리 정보이나야 지금 수수 이제다 대비 군인 남바이나 안데 자제간의 제나 슈비나 제나 토브리에 숨을.
Yes. So for the Jenang itself, the way to receive a Jenang, it will depend solely, for example, first solely depends on the level of faith and conviction a practitioners have in order to be receiving the Jenang. And by this, perhaps it will be related to the current nowadays condition where sessions are being given online, such as being broadcasted online. So there is a possibility, of course, that a person can receive a jana through the broadcast of the internet based on the intensity or the level of the faith and conviction that the person has. But then it will depend also on many factors and many conditions. For example, for the person who really, for example, the one that really have the opportunity, the time and the chance to receive the jana directly, meaning in the same location directly, these are for the best condition that one can condition himself in the same location and able to receive the jana, apart of course from the main requirements, the faith and conviction. So if suppose one who have the wish to receive the jana, but then he doesn't meet other conditions such as the location or the time, then it would be another case. But in all, the main important things is the faith and the conviction, but with the best possible positive supporting condition in order to receive the jana.
ဒီ王能心就经过那路亚的旅游嘛的是吧？
Yes.
你那样他简单搞了呀，他就其实没得有个的你好过是吧？那就这些干的选择有个人呢，我的就或者俺了有那也会有的，可是那生意人简单批的什么，俺没忙有的累积了呀，简单批个有啥别的，俺上面当也开过的有的。
Yes. So for tomorrow's session, actually it is called a janam. It is not a great initiation. It's not a wong. And the difference is, for example, the main difference is that there is no mandala, because for the great initiation wong, there is a mandala. The disciple enter into the mandala. This is not happening for tomorrow, because tomorrow the session is called janam. And for the janam, the participants who are present at the location, this we can see it with bare eyes. We can know who is coming, who is present at the location. As suppose if there is any internet broadcasting, the master must know who is present in the internet connection by seeing directly the person, because the master who conduct the jana will recite or will do the ritual for certain number of disciples. He will need to know who is the disciple.
기와드니 대체나 야고 이기를 아무 같이 도.
Yes.
기와드니 지야 되지면 저대로.
Yeah. And by this, we will conclude the elaboration and we allocate a little bit of time, just a little bit of time for question and answer. Lah, di sana di target anangnya di Yomaris.
tragedy ya bare.
Yomaris. So for the kenati deset nange sangin di Yomaris di misama di hapo.
야. 나 상바다 산이 tragedy 요리 삼전서. 다 tragedy 요 말에서 다 tragedy 내비나다 다디 tragedy 슈빙 요비나 세야디다 디 맵사리. 나 다가라지. 나 산이 요 말에 다 tragedy 슈야디 요 말에.
Yes. So just now the condition to fulfill what is the condition for the janam to be conducted by internet broadcasting is being offered. This is the explanation in general. However, for our session tomorrow, there will be no internet broadcasting. This is what we just seen is the possibility of it. But tomorrow we will do it the way that is together in the center, in the location of the center. So by this, people could know, the one who is hearing now could know. Tiwa Dambodi, Kulon Sodu, Perna Raptu di San Diego Bangla top, di Dingwa di Tarpa la top, di Mata gi Ladang Mi. Ladang Mi, Gewa Jama ladang mi.
그래서
Ta mi na the chujaya di bukap yuris. Is it sem chik di la kia na chujaya di bukap yore yomaris.
할게는 여러 사상만 취지하냐고 말해. 어, 재단을 할게 위해서 맞아 할 세린 건 되라도 서라. 재단을 할게 위해서 수수매 수리기에 하면 뭐여라. 수리 취지님만 뭐여라. 수감에 가서도 취지님만 뭐여라. 이 여러스.
Yes.
사상만 취지하면 네바요만. 할 취지하면 고갑 유기열이 매비열이 지다. 이나야 지 지중열이 고갑 때는 수다 내야 갈 끼게 주도서 때리나 맞아 다지 미때는 자불링이 미디 때는 야야 지 취지야 튕게 야가 이거야. 셈디 때지 뒤 가르스나 말도 강에 채워요. 제가 로고 출 그야 돼 계속 슉 채워요.
Yes.
이 열이스.
Yes. So the question in his opening this morning, Gisela shared a quote that mentioned we must aim for a good rebirth as a human or a god. In terms of a rebirth as a god, how is that beneficial from being able to practice Dharma? Is a rebirth as a human preferable to a god rebirth in terms of path to Buddhahood? So the elaboration is as follows. So even though, yes, we need to aim for the rebirth in the next life at the minimum as a human or as God. As for the rebirth as a God, not all gods do not have the condition to practice Dharma. The gods have the condition to practice the Dharma as well. But for certain type of gods, especially what is called the long life God, the one who can live very, very long, for this one, they have the obstacles. But for the other types of gods, for example, in the desire realm gods, they still have the condition to practice the Dharma. But then it comes to the difference is how big or how small the condition needs to be for them to be able to practice the Dharma. So between the God self, there is the one that is born in the form realm and then the formless realm. So it is formless realm and either upper than that, it is difficult for them. But for the form realms, they are still conditioned for the gods to practice the Dharma. As for the comparison between gods and the humans, we know that the explanation is between gods and humans have more better condition to practice the Dharma. So one particular difference between human and the gods, in humans' life, there are much more hardship and difficulty, therefore they are suffering. And due to the suffering, human mind is said to have a greater courage. The courage of bravery in human is greater in order to be able to practice the Dharma. So between gods and human, the human has better condition to practice the Dharma.
할 취지에 되는 내비나 산재 중대들 하유라 편은 더 숨이 위슈 송주난 걸로 주셔요.
Yes. So if for those of you who thinks that the gods do not have the condition to practice Dharma whatsoever, so what is the purpose of Buddha visiting the gods realm for the period of 3 months and giving Dharma teachings there? We know that the Buddha went up to the gods realm, stay for 3 months and give Dharma teachings. Tene di yeshe dawa semchen la drolia di semchen di sure semchen drolia di topo di semchen sigre mena tepcha di semchen di kanderis.
이제 탭자되다 예주를 그래두고 이렇게 말이죠. 심지 좋아 저발라 심지 고라라는 수남 뜻 고래. 변화된 되죠. 산제라 안에베 제베 잡교 연나야 뒤절라 대비 안으면은 그래두고 말해서 지어래. 그죠? 변화로 이메나 변화 산지 말아도 뒤져들라 대바다 수남디 따다 그거다. 변화 이 알롱 생각 들어 알롱 시그로 아디니 이 대마자 다야죠로
Yes.
다 산제를 잡기요래 산제 야 잡기야 전투그래
Yes.
알롱디 메나 알롱디 얘는 그 전도
Yes.
내가 알롱 메나 이 가르치는 전투면도 빼디셔버
Yes.
그래서 뒤져 거라 때바다 이지다 뒤빼 여디 군이 딱다 튠지 않은 야디 이
Yes.
전투그래만도 뒤져 여디 전투말
Yes. Yes.
전투말
So the next question, when it is said that Princess Yesedawa liberated sentient beings, were these sentient beings already on the brink of realizing liberation, or they can be just normal, ordinary sentient beings? And for this, the elaboration is as follows. So for just normal, ordinary sentient beings, perhaps it's relatively difficult to liberate them, because in order to be liberated, a person or a being must have a great merit. But related to the activity of the Princess Dawa, who are the Buddhas, for example, the Buddhas right now, at the present moment, is working, they are emitting activities at all the time. But then, from the side of the sentient beings themselves, ourselves, we have to fulfill the precondition in order to receive the help or the blessing from the Buddha. The condition being mainly the faith and conviction, and also the merit. And for this, the simple analogy is by using what is called a hook. So the Buddhas is at all time ready. They are ready by now, even as we speak, they are working. But from the sentient being side, they have to have like a hook. If there is a point of hooking, then the Buddhas can hook the sentient beings. The Buddhas, using the activities and the power, can help sentient beings by connecting to the hook. But the hook itself must come from the sentient being side. Without this hook, the Buddhas even try to connect, but the Buddha cannot connect, because from the side of the sentient being, there is no hook, there is no point to connect. So in this way, the sentient beings to be liberated must fulfill the precondition for it. Mainly this here is the faith and conviction and the great merit.
나 딘데기 냠다고들 이야 담도에는 지수들만 단대디 심증이 되는 거야래 심증만 뭐 거래 저 단대 난 거래
Yes.
나도 하고 그래
Yes. So with this, if you try to imagine, even right now, at this present moment, as we speak, Tara is working. And by working, Tara is now liberating many, many sentient beings. And it's us here who is left out. We are still here. Tara is working to liberate, and we are left out here. Yes. Yeah. And by this, we come to the end of the session, because time is up. We stop until this point.
아니 단대디 지수들은 거래냐 지주어를 지으면은 그냥 먼저 단대 제일 가지 단대 하대로 전대지를 하대로 되면은 요한하는 게 되죠.
Yes. So about the jhana itself, there.
얘는 말이야.
Yes. Yeah.
얘는 말이지 이모지마도
Yeah.
산일이
Yes. So for the Tara practice itself, we still have the remaining sessions. According to the timetable schedule, we have 2 upcoming sessions in the future, the next week. So any questions or any discussion about Tara can be continued in that future sessions.
아게 진에서게 겨워도 되나도 고마운데 여거 제절로 살도 봐이 때문에 모르는 세제 최세 벌을 좀 다게 겨워 간사가 되는 지디에 말이 예제세라고 또 봐요.
Lira prince nye degen pade sangye sinto mete uage yogo namda singla chopar sho ratna mandala kap niryata ya me
Turning into waves of healing.
Kada yang ba gan shin sa ba de lo mi ma re ge don do wa nam de ge we wang po da gyu ji ver ma sun pe che ra kun tu yam chang pe yang ge che we che su ne ten pe rien ba kun san lam ge cho yin ne tu pe nian nam ne che zo 安吉之先多贝朗给你，苏达切为长贝当给给，多为也给蒙巴塞杰尼，也为等巴用人间救济，等巴人间做给马家巴，家家娘巴救贝做的你，人间全部也让救巴伊。Tende se wa je bar so se se ge we me zon den le le se ju zang zo lam ge ren pe gyam tar de nam ge ye la pe de se ge we je ba ren to gyong yu ji lam san zhu pe chun gen zhu je jing ge ge se je mie dang mie meng se lam ku to ge we nga bai nam da lam dan de wa ma gyu ji gan se de ba cho la cho zhu zhu su xian zhu la chun ba de ye zhe tu de nam ge da du zhu jie jing da xie ga so cho gu ya yu ji
Okay, so I hope some of you can all of you will stay back to this. Okay, so